Well, hello, EK Nation. Welcome to a new edition of This Week in Karting. It's episode number 44. It's June the 1st as we work our way into the summer months of the 2022 racing season. My name's Rob Howden, joined today by David Cole and by our new recruit at ekartingnews.com, Nate Dean. We'll talk to him in a little bit as well. Those of you who are maybe new to our This Week in Karting podcast, really what it is it's taking all of the news that made it to the homepage on eKarting News, jam it all into a podcast, perfect for listening on the way to work or coming home, whatever it may be. Maybe you're out in the garage working on your cart, whatever it is. This is a great way to get yourself up to speed on everything that's been happening in the sport if you're a guy who likes to listen to podcasts. Today's show is being presented by Skip Barber Racing Schools. Are you looking for the next step in racing? Go from karts to cars with the Skip Barber Racing School. Skip Barber alumni are champions in every motorsports series, including Formula One, NASCAR, IMSA, and IndyCar. Get behind the wheel of a Skip Barber Formula 4 car featuring a 160 horsepower turbocharged engine. Our highly structured and competitive Skip Barber Race Series is the perfect platform to start your racing career so you can fulfill your dream of becoming a champion. With equalized race cars and a focus on driver development, your driving skills will determine if you end up in victory lane. Learn more about the Skip Barber Racing School at skipbarber.com or call 866-932-1949. David Cole, to get you in here, get your roll on our last episode, May the 17th. Dude, that's like literally 2 weeks ago. This has got to be a record for us here in 2022.
For the year, yeah, I think it's right? A record. But yeah, we try. We were going to try and fit one in last week. Unfortunately, it just didn't happen. Busy schedule. Holiday weekend, vacation day. All that good stuff going on. But yeah, news is happening across the country in the sport. So we got to get an episode in to talk about it.
And let's be real. It's not you. It's me. Right?
I'm trying to be nice, Rob. I was rude. I was rude. I was rude pre-show, but I figured I'd be nice on air. And yeah, it is you, Rob.
It's not you, David. It's not you, David. It's me. It's me. Yeah, folks, as you guys know, my schedule is absolutely ridiculous. And in fact, over the next, 7 weekends, I'll be gone 6 weekends at races. So I'll be kind of back in the middle of the week. Luckily, David, one of the big news we're going to kick out the start right now is today here on Wednesday, June the 1st, we announced that we've added our first new staff member in 17 years, I think it is. You were the last guy that I added to the staff back in 2004. So really 18 years since we've added anybody. It's been you and I for this last time. Of course, we had Tim Blaney with us for a couple of years after you came on board. He was still with us. But Nate Dean, our new editorial assistant from Minnesota, it's been racing since 2015. Nate, I know you're with us here right now. Dude, congratulations and thanks for joining the staff.
Yeah, thank you. Obviously, really happy to be working with you guys who have built up this media empire within karting and really looking forward to what we can do together.
Well, I'll tell you, Nate, I know it's going to be one of those deals where you'll be drinking water out of a fire hose, right? There's going to be so much being thrown at you. I know that David and I have been at you already. I think we've been going for about 5 hours today, maybe six hours.
Yeah, it's been fun though. Just keeping busy, doing this little tasks and just enjoying it right now.
David, what do you think? First 5 hours in, is he a keeper so far?
Well, he's definitely a better graphics designer than I am, so that's a keeper for sure. I told you my paint art is not exactly the greatest, over the last 10 years that I've been trying to do graphics. So again, I have a vision. It's just a matter of putting that vision down. And Nate's already done that with the first couple of projects we had. So then we're going to get into, his writing abilities. And obviously we're going to do some of the back end stuff of the website. So lots to do over the next, couple months to get them situated in.
Well, that's where I kind of play this off. Obviously, Nate's got a bunch of different skills that we're going to be able to leverage. We're going to bring him up to speed as kind of our intern right now, but he really is our editorial assistant. And we'll work with our advertising partners as well. But me not being able to be here all the time for This Week in Karting, so we bring Nate up to speed. So you're probably going to see some of these podcasts with David, just you and Nate on board, which will be great, I think.
Yeah, it puts me in the lead chair for the podcast. A little different view of that, and. Yeah, I'm going to try and do more podcasts. That's what we talked about, try and do them trackside when I'm not with you. I have the opportunities now with, the way coverage now is kind of shifting, opens up Friday, especially like we talked about USPKS, Friday, going to be able to do a couple podcasts there and other things. But yeah, it's again, it brings the our average age down a bunch, doesn't it?
Yeah, hey, you're just 21 years of age, so we got a little bit of a youth movement here on EKN. I will say one thing, because I want you to talk a little bit so people understand that you've been in the sport fly. You've been karting since 2015. Before you tell us about the racing you've done, so we have hashtag beat Rob Howden, hashtag beat David Cole. Now there's obviously a hashtag beat Nate Dean, but I don't think, David, you and I are going to be able to make that senior weight.
No, that I mean, we're on diets, but I don't think we can get down that low. I mean, have you seen his profile picture? Yeah, he's there with the lightweight categories, not medium or heavy, that's for sure.
He looks good in the go-kart, a lot better than we do, that's for sure.
Yeah, the CRG picture, I mean, I've driven a CRG. It's been a while, I think, for you, if you even have, but he looks way better in it than I do.
So, Nate, give us a little bit, the listeners, a little bit of an overview. You've been karting for what, about 6 or 7 years now? How did you get started in it?
Yeah, so we live around 5 minutes away from Stockholm Karting Center, nice. And I've been going there for a while before, just doing their rental car program and whatnot, and decided in winter of 2014 that we wanted to get into it the next year. Started racing with the World Formula engine, which has since been phased out pretty much everywhere. Moved into 206, won a couple championships in that, and yeah, there's not too much to it. I've done some WK, some Route 66 races in that time, scored a few podiums, which on its own is pretty good when you're teammates with Alexander Kardashian for that, and him getting on podiums and wins every weekend. It kind of puts that down a little bit, but yeah, it's been a fun ride.
Well, David, the interesting thing now is that now Nate's obviously a club champion. Alicia Hodap, who works with us, obviously a part of our team, part of my family, as a club champion and as a regional champion. You and I, the big goose egg.
Well, if you count road racing, I might have a club championship here or there, but yeah, that's road racing.
Is there
well, if I really look back, if I look back somewhere in like one of the old magazines, like that I pull out of my dad's library, I might be able to find, winning a club championship against two people. I mean, that's that's the limit of my success. Other than, I did win the Machismo 12, the Machismo in Vegas with Jim Russell and Chuck O'Farah. So I did win that.
Yeah, I won it the 1 year as well with our indoor kartracing.com team, right? I did that one too. So
yeah, you guys, I think you guys were in the club, we were in the pro or something. Right. I think, or some maybe it might have been different years, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So hey, listen, Nate, so give your background. You obviously, you just graduated from Ridgewater College. You've got the skill sets to join us, which is great. Talk about your college career.
Yeah, so in that background, like you said, graduating from Ridgewater just a couple of weeks ago, mainly focusing on the photo and the video aspect of things, and you have the multimedia side of things, which is everything to do with the Adobe suite, with Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere, Lightroom, all of that.
Awesome.
From the out in the field standpoint, I've mainly been working with, obviously, Stockholm Karting Center, promoting their race series, promoting the rental car program, and then with Ted Fashing acquiring Kartlift, I've been involved with that project too. And yeah, it's been a fun ride with them. I've done a little bit for some individuals for Route 66, but not too much outside of Stockholm.
Well, we've stolen you away now, which is great. You never get, ask David. Once you're in e-karting, you can never get away, right, David?
Yeah, it's like a bad disease.
Oh, come on now. So Nate, are you planning any racing this year? Right now, you got any plans for races?
I might make it out to a Route 66 race or two. There's definitely going to be a couple club races that I want to do. I think we're bringing back the night race this year for Stockholm, so I'm definitely going to be looking forward to that. But not too much racing. Going to be focusing more on the media side of things.
I think we should probably focus on maybe Cup Karts North America as well, the Grand Nationals. We might have to put a deal together. Have all three of us racing there, I think. Dave, what do you think of that? Good idea? right?
Yeah, I told you he could cover the light and mediums. We can get the heavy and masters and legends out of the way.
The legends, that's right. Dude, listen, E-Karting News is going to be spreading the entire program. I like it. That's awesome.
I think that deserves new race suits, new graphics. We got we got a graphics guy, so he could do all design everything. We just got to get him done up.
That's it. I like the idea. We'll put it in place. That's going to happen. I like it. Nate, listen, just first off, just an official welcome to the team here on the podcast. Great to have you on board. Obviously, the very first day, lots is going to happen over the next, weeks and months and years. So just great to have you on board and awesome to have you on the podcast today too.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right, David, let's jump into this thing. Nate's going to hang around with us and get a feel for the show and being in the the studio side of this program. Some breaking news happening, David. The California Rock Championship, which is essentially the summer offshoot of the Challenge of the Americas Winter Series, the West Coast Rock program with the FTK and Andy Saisman. The initial California Rock Championship was going to be a Cal Speed, Pat's Acres, Sonoma 3-event program. Just so much racing going on, and we talked with Andy Saisman about that on a face-to-face, but they've elected to focus strictly now, David, on Pat's Acres. The Cal Speed event actually obviously not happening. That was supposed to be made. They've canceled the Sonoma event now, so everything focusing for the California Rock Championship on a one-off event at Pat's Acres Racing Complex later this month, which I think is a good focus there to get everybody together for one big race.
Yeah, official press release going to be published on June 2nd. So that's, we're taping Wednesday. It's going to be published Thursday. So again, breaking news. So you're hearing it first on the podcast before it's published. It's just the way kind of the season has unfolded for the West Coast program. That is the California Rock Championship. They were gearing up for 3 solid events. And unfortunately, as we talked with Andy a little bit during the face-to-face, Cal Speed didn't come to fruition, just had nobody interested in racing. Obviously it was a busy 4 to 5 months to open up the year. So that kind of, people are looking to kind of take a break. And unfortunately they took that break with the challenge or the California Rock Championship opener. And then, there's going to be another event scheduled near when that rock race at Sonoma is going to be. So, Andy's just kind of, it's almost, regrouping. He's done this before with the California Rock Championship where he's had to regroup. And unfortunately, 2022 is going to be the same way. But thankfully, we're going to have an amazing event at Pat's Acres Racing Complex on June 24th through the 26th.
Yeah, it's going to be essentially a special, like kind of a one-off winner-take-all event format up there with all the prizes for Rock Vegas, all the entries, all the stuff that was obviously dialed in for the series itself. So the event itself, June the 24th, 25th, 26th. David, you and I are both going to be there. You can trackside live coverage all weekend long. I'll be on the mic. And the cool thing about Pat's Acres, if you've never been there before, this is an iconic facility. It's a challenge to drive on. The park-like atmosphere. David, we know a lot of motorhomes are coming in. People are camping overnight. Andy, you and I, a couple of racers are renting RVs to stay there. There's literally going to be a party at night in the paddock as well, or in the camp area, which is just outside the paddock. It's going to be a really, I think, unique weekend for 2022.
Yeah, I think that might deserve some live debriefs each night, with some adult beverages, maybe I don't know if we'll hunker down somewhere or maybe we'll walk around with the camera. We'll see how things kind of flow with the event. But again, it's that laid back atmosphere that Andy and his crew always bring to an event of just going to a racetrack, enjoying yourselves, but yet on track, it's very fierce, very competitive. And, drivers, already talking about heading up to Pat's Acres from California. And I'm sure we're going to see some mountain region drivers heading that way as well. You got the entire Rollison Performance Group crew going to be racing there at their quote unquote home racetrack. And, a lot of things. And we might also get a tour of Rollison Performance Group. Their actual home headquarters is near that racetrack, so we might be able to swing by there as well.
Yeah, that's all part of it as well. No, the Gary Carlton team, GFC, planning on heading up as well. A lot of different teams, and again, the idea is to kind of get everybody from the Pacific Northwest to come and play as well. It should be a fantastic weekend. We're looking forward to it. So again, the California Rock Championship, now a one-off event at Pat's Acres on June the 24th, 25th, 26th. David, further into the year, in fact, into the late summer, early fall, one of our favorite events each year is the Extreme Rock Island Grand Prix. And they've been doing a bunch of different stuff to kind of, I would say, change the focus to a certain extent, add more excitement to the event, a new track and club team competition. I know you've talked to Roger Ruthart a little bit about this. This is kind of an interesting deal, a different approach for an additional competition throughout the weekend.
Yeah, it's almost like an added element to the event, and gives kind of focuses a little attention on the actual clubs and club racers that are going to be attending Rock Island Grand Prix. Again, we talk about it. It's kind of that one-off for grassroots racers across the Midwest and the South, and a lot of different people that do come up and race at the Rock Island Grand Prix. So essentially what it is drivers in all the different categories that they provide will designate their either home racetrack or their home club. And so they'll be associated with that racetrack or that karting club throughout the event. And all the points that they gain throughout the event, no matter what main event that they're in, they'll gain points for their home racetrack or home club. All the points for each club and racetrack will be tabulated, and then an average based on the number of race entries from that track or club will be calculated, and then the lowest average finishing position for a tracker club will win the prize. And again, I'm assuming a special trophy might go home with some of the racers that are there, or if even a club, board member or such is there, will be presented with this award. So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. Again, and just another added element to kind of put some fun and a little, rivalry between tracks and clubs as well for the Labor Day weekend event.
Yeah, let's bring Nate back in on this one, because I know, Nate, I don't think you've ever raced at Rock Island before, but man, there's always been a contingent that have come down from Minnesota, whether it be Stockholm. Obviously a number of people have come down here. Is that something that's still a big thing up in Minnesota? Are guys still looking to come to Rock Island?
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously it's one of the big events in North American karting. That's right up there with Supernats for a lot of people.
Yeah.
From our track, I think we're going to be sending a few down. I'm not too sure. There's always a lot of talk and a lot of people who want to go, but it's around just some weekends where they want to be with family or other things. But I think we'll have some good representation there this year. Hopefully. I know outside of Stockholm, a few of my teammates, like Carter Pease, has done very well there and won before. Yeah. Killian Kevney, I believe, who used to race at Stockholm, kind of got out of it now, is won there. So we obviously have a decent record there, and hopefully we can add to that this year.
I feel a little bit old, David, when I can go back and talk about Minnesota drivers that were there before Nate was born. Right?
I was going to say, can he pull out the Dan Rowe?
The Dan Rowe. I was going to say the Rowe brothers. So there was brothers, right? Yeah.
Well, I got Dan Rowe winning in 2000 ADCC shifter.
Before you were born, Nate.
Yep. Months before I was born.
That's amazing. That is so funny. Yeah. Dan was a badass, that's for sure. He could hustle around there. Rock Island Grand Prix, folks, a fantastic race. Another one, if you haven't been to it before, cross it off the bucket list. You got to go to Rock Island just because of the event itself, the atmosphere around the event. David, you've been going. Again, this is the year after COVID's kind of slipped away a little bit. Finally, it's subsided to the point where people can still get out and have a good time. I think we saw it with the Indy 500. This was really the first, Roger Penske past COVID Indy 500 packed the place. I'm hoping that Rock Island and the downtown core kind of fires back up, because you and I've had a lot of fun there over the years. The racetrack is fun, but it's the stuff away from the track that's a blast as well.
Yeah, last year, obviously, COVID restrictions kind of, hampered the fun atmosphere outside the racetrack and at the nightlife. And as you said, we saw, this past weekend, over 300,000 people at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Illinois is obviously one of those states that was pretty strict on their COVID restrictions throughout much of 2021. And I think we're seeing that disappear now. And a lot of new things are coming to downtown Rock Island. I know I've been watching the social media feeds for the district and just Rock Island City, and they're doing a lot of new renovations, new buildings, new companies, new restaurants, a lot of new things going into downtown Rock Island. So again, they're hopefully all of that work that's going in will help not only help the city itself, but help the Rock Island Grand Prix as well.
Indeed. And as David said in kind of detail there, a new track and club team competition for this year's Rock Island Grand Prix. As he said, another element to what is a fantastic street race, the premier street race in North America. So good start here to this edition of This Week in Karting. Folks, when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit about some, let's say, silly season action. We got some drivers moving teams here early in the 2022 season. Don't go anywhere, folks. We're back with this edition of This Week in Karting after this quick break. The new face of competitive karting in the Pacific Northwest region is RaceLab. The full-service karting operation is located at the state-of-the-art Kartplex facility in Oliver, British Columbia, Canada, providing everything you need to hit the track or put yourself in a successful driver development program. RaceLab is the official North American distributor for the TB Kart chassis brand, providing the full range of models from kid kart to shifter kart. Villeneuve Racing Karts is their flagship product, available only through RaceLab. The brand carries the name of Formula One champion and Indianapolis 500 winner Jacques Villeneuve, with each model produced by TB Kart. Kartplex, the home of RaceLab, is situated on the grounds of the Area 27 Motorsports Park. From full arrive and drive TB Kart rentals to leagues and competition karting, the facility provides a new home to developing the future stars of motorsports, all beginning at Kartplex with RaceLab. Follow RaceLab on social media on Facebook and Instagram, or load up their website at www.theracelab.ca to learn more about TB Kart and Villeneuve Racing Karts. RaceLab. Race with us, win with us. The Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is where out-of-the-box ease and outstanding consistency meet to create legendary races. Briggs & Stratton's history of motorsports dates back to when the first engines came off the assembly line in the early 1900s. Their focus on the grassroots level continues to help build generations of racers. Since 2008, the Briggs & Stratton 206 has gained a following that has the engine powering the largest fields in North American karting today. From the club level track programs to traveling regional series and national events, Briggs & Stratton competition provides the most exciting racing in the sport. Engineered and hand-built exclusively for racing, every Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is power tested and serialized before it goes in the box. Karters can take that engine straight from the box to their kart and be on the podium at the end of race day. Be sure to follow Briggs & Stratton Racing on Facebook and through @RaceBriggs on Instagram. To learn more about the 206 engine or to find the North American dealer near you, head to BriggsRacing.com. Briggs & Stratton Racing, what powers you? Welcome back to a new edition of This Week in Karting, episode 44. It's June the 1st, 2022. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole and our new recruit, Nate Dean, on the broadcast here today. David, interesting. We had a couple of pieces of news come across the EKN news desk. Caught me off guard to a certain extent because a couple of major names, one in single speed, one in shifter, moving teams from successful programs with other operations, moving teams. Let's start with Ryan Perry Motorsport welcoming in Jeremy Fletcher. Jeremy, of course, sweeping the SuperKarts USA Super Nationals last year in the junior categories, comes out of the gate to start 2022, winning the Florida Winter Tour VLR senior title, and also has wins, David, at the SCUSA Pro Tour and USPKS all ready to start the season. And he's moving over to RPM with Ryan Perry, a pretty big move for one of the top rookie drivers this year.
Yeah, adding a bullet to the Ryan Perry Motorsport tent with the addition of Jeremy Fletcher. Obviously a two-time Super Nationals winner last year, winning both junior categories. But he's already started off this season, his senior rookie season, off well. scoring the Florida Winter Tour Championship in the VLR Senior category. He's already got wins at the SCUSA Pro Tour, USPKS, as well as other events throughout the year. He's a busy guy. He's a busy guy at the racetrack going pretty much every weekend.
Yeah.
It's very rare to see him with an off weekend, but this is, add him to Paulie Massimino, the Morgan brothers, and other drivers that are there underneath the tent for Ryan Perry Motorsport. And it just adds to the element that they're able to provide this year in the 2022 season.
Well, here's the thing. We watched Connor Zilich kind of be the guy last year coming out of junior and being not so much dominant factor, but in position to win any race. And the same thing I feel with Jeremy, right? He's come out of junior into senior, and any race that we're following or covering or whatever it may be, this is a guy that you could expect to put it on the pole and win races. So out of the gate, very strong. The move to Ryan Perry Motorsport, as you said, only further strengthens the driver lineup they have. So kudos to Ryan for putting that together. And we'll see what Jeremy's able to do. He will join the team. The debut will be the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour Spring Nationals, which comes up in just over a week's time at the Utah Motorsports campus. David, of course, will be trackside there for the coverage all weekend long. So should be interesting to see what Jeremy Fletcher's able to do. David, more news too. Here's another one. A guy that we followed as one of the top shifter kart drivers in the country, Hunter Pickett, who will end now a very successful stint running for GFC Karting. That stint including a couple of Challenge of the America Senior Shifter Rock titles. He's moving to Burrell Art North America. This one really caught me off guard, to be honest.
It did. I thought he had a good thing going with GFC, obviously, as you said, with those 2 championships at Challenge in America, is picking up another number of other different victories and podiums. So it was a good stint that he did have with GFC. But yeah, this move is unique. It's shocking. I didn't expect to see Hunter Pickett really move away from GFC. I thought, he liked being, he began with Aluminos, who was based in NorCal, and then moved over to GFC, again, based in Northern California. Yep. So I was shocked to see this kind of happen, being a young family man that he is, husband and now son as well. So it's shocked to see him moving over to Burrell Art and, I don't know if this is putting more of an emphasis on his career or what, because, when you join PSL and Burrell Art North America, it's all in atmosphere, not that GFC isn't, but, they travel a lot of races. I already know he's down there testing in Texas right now with both Jake French and Marnian Kremers, both at Speed Sports. And then I think they were at North Texas Kartways as well. So they're getting a lot of testing in early, and you got to expect to see all 3, expecting to be on their game when they head to the Pro Tour Spring Nationals.
And let's talk about this 3-prong attack now for Burrell Art North America and PSL Karting. Not only do you have Jake French, who's been a perennial front runner, running with them for the last couple of years, race winner, national race winner. We've seen him do so much. And then Martin Kremers, as you mentioned, a former world champion, now spending his time here this year with Burrell Art North America and PSL as kind of their, one of their factory drivers over here as pro shifter drivers. You throw Hunter Pickett into the mix, and that's a big pickup for the Red Army. I think these guys Burrell's going to be up front all weekend in Utah.
Yeah, as we've seen, Jake French has been there the entire, since he moved over there, has been one of the, consistent front runners. Unfortunately, they've had AJ Myers to deal with over the last, couple of seasons, especially last year, winning 5 of the 6 main events on the SCUSA Pro Tour. We saw Burrell Art, score the victory with the Charles Leclerc chassis at the Super Nationals. So we know it's, the product's there. There's no question about the product. It's just, getting those final little pieces in place. And so maybe having, multiple drivers under the tent who are capable of winning might, inch them a little bit better. As we saw, obviously Kremers winning both main events at the Winter Nationals and NOLA. That certainly helps build the confidence and get them going. And again, maybe they're trying to pull off a sweep that maybe AJ Myers wasn't able to do last year.
Yeah, you're right. And not only sweeping the race, but trying to sweep the podium as well. So there's a lot of great drivers with Burrell Art and PSL Karting that they add Pickett to the program. So really stepping things up there. And David, let's before we cut to another break, this feels like there's guys that are looking for more, right? I think that the level of competition we have these days at that national, that national level of racing, whether it's SCUSA or USPKS, whatever it may be, it's just so tight. Everybody looking for that little bit extra, whether it's trackside support, whether it's having the teammates you want to have when you're racing. I don't know if this is going to be the start of some floodgates of a lot of drivers jumping teams, looking for more, whatever it may be. But when you see Fletcher and Pickett both move, man, that's a big shakeup over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it could be. It could also be chemistry. Maybe the people you were working with, you got too complacent. You weren't pushing yourself, or there just wasn't that. There wasn't that mojo that was working, and so maybe finding a different home. Obviously Fletcher's staying on the OTK product, so there's not much change there. He's essentially just getting more data, more driver coaching, more tuners. Working with Brian Perry himself as well. So I think there's just more resources there. When you look at Pickett, he's going on a brand new chassis. He's driven Aluminos and he's driven GFC. So this is only his third different kart, and it's obviously going to be different than what he's used to with the GFC or even the Aluminos back in the day. So he has French and he has Kremers to work with to get him up to speed. And again, he's a championship performing driver, so there's no doubt that he'll be able to get up to speed. And maybe it's just looking for that new challenge that is driving him to make this move.
Yeah, that may be true as well. All told, it's going to be a really interesting Superkarts USA Spring Nationals in Utah in a couple of weeks. As I said, June 9th to the 11th, that event. So watch for these drivers in new liveries when they head back onto the racetrack. So that caps off this segment. Let's get back at it again, folks. We got another one coming up. We're going to talk about the brand new racing circuit in Southern California. It's not too far from where I am right now here down in Temecula. I'm going to go check it out over the next couple of weeks, but we'll talk about that. Also talk about, David, a new racetrack being set to open in South Florida. Lots more to come. Don't go anywhere. We got more here on This Week in Karting after this break. Leading Edge Motorsports is the industry answer to winning in karting. At the helm is industry veteran Greg Bell, who has orchestrated the success of many drivers dating back to the mid-1990s. Based in Lodi, California, Leading Edge Motorsports is the Western importer with IP karting that includes the Praga and Formula K chassis brands. Leading Edge Motorsports provides in-depth driver development for those racers in Northern California and across the country. Arrive and drive services, kart preparation, and driver coaching are available under the LEM tent throughout the season. Bell's record of working with drivers includes recent victories at North America's biggest karting events, including the Rock the Rio and the SCUSA Super Nationals. Greg Bell's knowledge for building engines spans 2 decades and is now under the Mega Power branding, providing a reliable engine service and tuning knowledge. No matter the chassis brand, choose Mega Power to get to the front. Click over to leadingedgemotorsports.com for more and find them on social media to stay connected. At Leading Edge Motorsports, winning never gets old. Acceleration Kart Racing is your first and only stop on the internet for karts, parts, and the safety gear you need to get you on the track. Visit shopakr.com for a great selection of karting equipment on a user-friendly website. Acceleration Kart Racing has aligned itself with many of the top manufacturers and distributors in the sport to ensure all the latest equipment is available to you, the racer. With over 20 years in business and customer support available 6 days a week, you can be confident about getting the right parts at the right price when you need them. Be sure to visit shopakr.com today or stop by their headquarters in Las Vegas. Make sure to follow Acceleration Kart Racing on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest specials and new arrivals. Welcome back to episode 44 of This Week in Karting here on the EKN Radio Network. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole and Nate Dean on the broadcast here today. David, obviously big news kind of rolled out when finally all this, the talk of a potential track in Southern California under the K1 speed banner. K1, of course, the largest indoor karting program in the country now, with more and more and more tracks popping up around the country for indoor karting. Big, of course, to introduce people to the sport, but the new K1 circuit as well. That track finally moving forward, a new facility in Southern California. It's in Winchester, California, which is really, I think, only about 20 minutes outside of Temecula. Of course, the home base for Superkarts USA, a 1.1 mile circuit designed by Rocky Moran Jr., the designer, and of course, the former owner of the famed and iconic Moran Raceway in Beaumont. This is big, David, because it's underway. The track is laid out. I'm told that the paving is done now, whether fully underway, but they are paving as we speak. There's going to be a big track in here in Southern California. K1 circuit, I think, is going to really potentially save what is an ailing Southern California karting community right now.
Yeah, it's going to give it a shiny new object. It's that's something that's kind of been lacking since the Moran Raceway. Really, there hasn't been a new facility in the area since the early 2000s when Moran Raceway was built. Was it Beaumont?
Beaumont, yep.
Beaumont, California, which is just
off the 10.
Northeast of where this racetrack's being built. So kind of in between that Temecula Beaumont range is where the new K1 circuit in Winchester, California is being built. Again, there's a lot of racers there. It's just, they continue to go to Cal Speed, or they use Riverside for testing, or they use Buttonwillow for testing, or they use Willow Springs. But this is going to be that really, it's going to be that GoPro Motorplex of the West Coast. If you look at,
that's a great line. Yep.
If you look at what they're planning to do, again, they're going to be focused on rental karts. That's going to be their major income for revenue, and they're probably their major focus on marketing as well too. But it's built by racers. Again, there are a lot of people in K1 speed that love racing, are involved in racing. Boris Said is one of them. Obviously, Rocky Moran Jr. is the other. And Rocky loves racing. That was the main thing with Moran Raceway. It wasn't a rental car track; it was a racetrack. So it's going to be a mixture of both. And that's what you get at GoPro Motorplex, and hopefully it'll build that club level of where they have 300 entries per club race. So, but again, that's going to be. Again, it took GoPro 10 years to get to that point. So again, the future's unknown. You're not quite sure what's going to happen, how things are going to evolve with the circuit. But just based on the videos we've seen, it looks like it's going to be an interesting racetrack to be part of. Rocky Moran actually got his first couple of laps on the racetrack when they got the first base layer of pavement down.
Right.
Again, yep. Still working on it, but he's in. He got to test out what you designed and what you built. So that was cool to see, and it's just a matter of what does the future hold for this circuit.
Well, and here's the interesting thing: they're targeting a fall opening for customers. Again, focusing on what will be outdoor electric carts as well. It's not going to be gas carts; it's going to be electric carts on the outdoor. I'm told. Other thing happening, they've bought some more property to have a proper massive paddock as well. So paddock was an issue. They bought extra property around the facility. There's going to be bigger paddock. I'm told that we're talking about a major league restaurant. They've got they've got a liquor license. This is going to be a facility that away from motorsports is going to allow people to come out and enjoy the sport of karting. Have that corporate team building day. This is a serious deal. The way K1 Speed, when they do things, they do it right. Right. We know that they do things at a very, very high level. This place is going to be a jewel, I think, for Southern California karting. It's going to take a bit of pressure off of Cal Speed, where we have, double series. There's both the LAKC and Tri-C is there. It's going to, I think, allow a little less pressure off there, inject a bunch of excitement into Southern California karting. And at the same time, as they continue to bring people out here to try this outdoor sport of rental karting, I think that's going to really inject a lot more people into the sport, David. Indoor karting is one thing, but making that leap from indoor karting to actually buying a cart and going outdoor karting is a lot different. When they're able to see what's going on at K1 circuit, when they're out there with the rentals and see that there's potential racing, I just have a feeling this is going to be that thing that injects a lot of excitement into the sport.
And the other thing to look at about the location, it's an hour and a half from San Diego, and we don't have a karting track right now active aside from dirt racing in the San Diego area. So if they're able to pull people from the San Diego area, that just multiplies the possibility of potential karters to not only introduce them into the sport, but get them involved in the sport. And so that, again, that could help to the growth and success of the circuit and whatever club program they decide to put in.
Yeah, and there's so much around this area as well for in terms of, the Temecula wineries, hotels. There's a lot of stuff going on in this area right now. So this is going to be big, folks. As we said, we'll bring you more information. We're going to sit down with Rocky Moran and get a podcast coming up soon to learn more about the facility itself. I'll head out there in a couple of weeks and get some shots myself there too. But awesome to see this new track that was rumored for so many years finally coming in to run. And again, potentially getting rolling in the fall of this season. David, same kind of goes a bit for South Florida. There's been obviously issues in South Florida. We're looking for other racetrack. Homestead's obviously the key component in South Florida. You've got the Anderson Race Park on the Gulf side. You've got Orlando Karting Center. We lost Ocala Grand Prix. Brand new state-of-the-art motorsports park set to open in South Florida, though. What do you know about that particular track?
Yeah, we received a press release about the new Atlantic Farms Motorsports Park, which is set to be a 900-acre facility located about 20 minutes from the old Palm Beach International Raceway. As we all know, there was a lot of people that were attempting to try and save the Palm Beach International Raceway from being shut down. Those attempts failed, and eventually I think that area is going to turn probably into housing. As all old racetracks typically end up becoming. But the Palm Beach International Raceway, that was a key component in karting and motorsports in general for northern Miami area. In a lot of karting events held there, Florida Winter Tours and other events as well. I think Kyle Kirkwood and Oliver Askew, a lot of those kids got their starts at that.
Yeah, indeed.
So we're kind of just waiting to see more. They announced it. It's going to happen. Other than that, we really haven't heard much or seen any diagrams. But they plan to hold a multiple road course, karting track, car garages, drag strip, skid pad, and obviously hospitality and clubhouse spacing. Obviously that's a very key element to a lot of these new facilities.
Well, let's just put it this way. Obviously, South Florida, Miami itself, is a lot of money down there, right? Let's be real. A big car culture as well down there. And to be able to have a facility like this, if done correctly, I think will really invigorate a lot into the motorsports side. Of course, just track day driving as well. But to be able to have a drag strip and a karting track and all that stuff in that area could be very interesting and developing, just like we talked about in Southern California, developing even more excitement in terms of getting people into the sport. So all in all, David, I always say this, anytime there's a potential to have a new track built, especially a new karting facility, that's a major positive for our sport.
It is. Yeah. We're waiting for one here in Michigan. We've gotten word that they're outside the Detroit area. They got the plans moving. We're thinking maybe 2024 that might happen. So we're kind of waiting to see. But again, any kart track's good. Again, it just opens the eyes. Again, the biggest secret in the world is karting, and that's again, anytime we have more facilities, it helps to open up the eyes and expose what the great sport that we have going.
All right, folks, let's set the cap off this edition of This Week in Karting. After this break, we're going to get back. We'll go through the EKN editorial that we've had on the website over the last couple of days. We'll talk about our podcast we've got rolling. We'll look at the EKN radio network and what's coming up. And we'll talk about where we're going to be with ekartingnews.com through the month of June. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll wrap things up after this quick break. Hey, racers. This is Rob Howden. If you're a West Coast rock racer, avoid the FOMO and get registered for the California Rock Championship event at Pat's Acres Racing Complex in Oregon on the June 24, 25, 26 weekend. You do not want to miss what will certainly be the biggest summer rock event on this side of the Mississippi. The event is rapidly gaining momentum with top teams and drivers signing on for this awesome one-off event at the iconic Pat's Acres facility. The event will offer tickets to the Rock Cup event in Las Vegas, Nevada on November 2nd to 6th, and the ekartingnews.com team will be on site with full EKN trackside live coverage. I'll be on the mic for commentary, and David Cole will be providing our unparalleled social media content and race reporting. Camp out and enjoy the atmosphere. It'll be a weekend you won't forget. Learn more about the California Rock Championship by visiting challengekarting.com. Let's rock! In racing, experience is priceless. Franklin Motorsports is a leader in the karting industry with over 50 years of combined karting experience, and we can provide you with everything you need to go racing. With a large online product selection, select track support events, and a wide variety of shop services, Franklin Motorsports is your complete karting source. Check out our online store at www.franklinkart.com, where all our products are just a mouse click away. We're constantly adding to the growing product selection on the online store, and we ship daily to ensure products get to you quickly. We specialize in IAME engines, Tillett seats, ceramic products, driveline branded products, Briggs & Stratton engines, OTK products, and of course, the championship winning Merlin chassis. In our online store, you'll find a variety of items to fill your karting needs. Franklin Motorsports is also known for our wide variety of services and is home to Innovative Engine Works by FMS, our in-house engine service department. Frame straightening, kart prep, and dyno testing are all services offered regularly at Franklin Motorsports. For all things karting, visit franklinkart.com. Welcome back to episode 44 of This Week in Karting. Rob Howden alongside David Cole and Nate Dean. David, let's wrap things up here. EKN editorial. There's been a lot coming out over the last little while. Some race reports, of course, the California Pro Kart Challenge getting their second round in the books. Same went for the Texas Sprint Racing Series, had their spring roundup. And we also had a chance to announce our driver of the month for the month of April, Eli Warren, getting the honor last month.
Yeah, Eli Warren, that was a great performance. He had 4 podiums over the 4 main events he had, winning both KA 100 junior main events and then finishing third both days in the Briggs junior category. So I got to highlight the Ohio driver, Eli Warren. And then, the California Pro Kart Challenge wrapped up their second event at the Buttonwillow Raceway Park to kick off things for the 2022 season. So we got that going. We also had the Texas Sprint Racing Series, their spring roundup event that was held at the Speed Sports Racing Park in north of Houston, Texas. We got that race report up online as well. And then one of your favorites, my favorites as well, too. We just before the 106th running of the Indianapolis 500, we were able to provide a photo starting grid that included all 33 drivers in their karting days. So that was fun to do.
Yeah, and David, kudos to you on that. Obviously, you did all the heavy lifting on that this year. Amazing job. You were able to get a lot of insight from some of the drivers as well. I know you put a little bit of a bit. If you haven't looked at it, head to the website and check out our karting version of the Indy 500 starting grid. I know that the race is past, but it was cool to see you added a little bit extra there as well, right? A little overview of when they raced, and even some of the drivers got back to us and kind of gave us their favorite karting memories as well. I thought that was a really good touch this year.
Yeah, it was fun. We were able to connect with a handful of the drivers. About a third of them were able to get back to us. We were looking for their favorite karting memory. Some had surprising answers. Some like Sage Karam, I pretty much had written down already with his winning of the Stars of Karting championship on both East and West, along with a national championship, and then earning the Triple Crown in WKA competition as well. That was a phenomenal cadet season for him. Again, one of those benchmark years that we continue to look back on. And then Graham Rahal pulled out his first ADCC junior victory at Pat's Acres back in the day.
That surprised me a bit, because anytime Graham and I are talking at the IndyCar races, especially over Road America, he talks about his first podium as well. and the Stars of Karting running ICC. And I want to say I think Bobby Wilson won the race, and one of the drivers from Quebec, I can't remember who it was right now, finished third, but he finished second. And I think he was only 16 or 17 years of age at that point. Maybe I think he was 16. And that was big for him as well for that one. That was pretty badass. Philippe Jelena.
Philippe. Second. Yeah.
Philippe Jelena. Yeah. But all in all, just a great job there. And I know that when we did it back in 2019, I showed a bunch of the drivers during media day, and they saw the pictures that we were using. Like, no, I want this picture. I want that picture. And it was funny. So we'll do it again next year. I think it's a really cool idea. I loved it. And kudos to you, David. That was well done.
Yeah, it's fun to do. Yeah, we'll try and connect a little bit earlier. Now, this year I thought they were going to have, maybe a bump day, but it didn't happen. So I was kind of waiting, making sure, qualifying happened. I didn't want to, jinx anybody on that.
Yeah,
but
right.
I think we'll start it a little bit earlier next. Hopefully, get all 33 drivers to get back to us.
One thing, folks, another that we just actually launched today on the website, I think today or yesterday, was our new chassis spotlight feature we're going to be doing. Kick things off with GFC Karting, Gary Carlton's program, and doing a spotlight on their SS31 and GT14. Watch for more chassis spotlights happening throughout the season as we connect with our partners here at ekartingnews.com. We'll dive in, kind of have a really good look at the chassis himself. And David, if for anybody who's a racer out there, I think it will become a really good database for what chassis are available and what upgrades may have been made over the last year.
Yeah, exactly. The GFC has been 4 years of development. So this is, again, a chassis that has worked, they've been working tirelessly on developing and fine tuning, and Carlton's super happy about what they've been able to produce. Obviously, it's showing by the results they have on track with numerous victories, pole positions, championships already to begin the 2022 season. So again, a great time to kind of get people thinking about, whether it be the end of the year or, the beginning of next year, start thinking about, what chassis are out there right now that are successful and what's going to be coming in the future.
And the GFC not just winning in shifters as well, winning in single speed competition, which I know Gary Carlton very proud to be able to say that winning on the different disciplines of the sport as well. David, let's talk about ECAN podcast. Of course, if you're listening to this podcast right now, you've obviously either you're subscribed to us somewhere. Could be on the ECAN radio network as well. This particular edition will be out, as you guys know, you're listening right now. You can go back and listen to episode 43, which we recorded on May the 17th. We also did a couple of face-to-face shows that are live on YouTube and Facebook, but we also turn all of those live videos, David, into podcasts as well. Face-to-face with Terry Trader and a number of race winners and, of course, supporters, Keith Freeburg in particular, of the Quincy Grand Prix. We did that. And, of course, you mentioned that we had a show with Andy Saisman talking about the California Rock Championship.
Yeah, Quincy Grand Prix winners from last year, Devin Smith-Harden, who was actually the left rear tire changer for Felix Rosenquist at the Indianapolis 500 and all season long. So he will be unable to attend due to conflicts, being at Road America for the IndyCar race there. And then also Jeremiah Davis, who won one of the Briggs Ignite categories last year. So, and he even has a tattoo of Quincy Grand Prix track on his body. So that is one of the dedicated former winners of the Quincy Grand Prix.
Yeah, obviously, if you're a racer in that area, I want another bucket list event. The Quincy Grand Prix, an absolutely iconic race. Same weekend, actually, as the SCUSA Spring Nats in Utah. So I know some people will be going to Utah. Some guys are going to be focusing on Quincy. I, of course, because of the issue, I'm going to be in the same place as Devin Smith-Harden. I'll be at Road America for the Road to Indy weekend. But all in all, a couple of really good podcasts there. If you haven't went back and listened to those, do so. Good shows for sure. Moving forward, though, on the ECAN Radio Network, David, this episode, of course, of This Week in Karting will be playing. But prepping for the Spring Nationals, which are coming up in just over a week's time, you've been knocking out our ECAN live shows from the Spring Nats over the past couple of days as well.
Yeah, today we have a way back Wednesday, going back to the first time we went to the Utah Motorsports campus, which is the Miller Motorsports Park back then in
Yeah.
2012. And it was actually the Summer Nationals we were there. But yeah, we'll kind of go back to some of the old Pro Tour Spring Nationals that we've had. Obviously, we'll get into last year's event from Utah, 2019 from Utah as well. And maybe we'll dip into the 17 and 18 Spring Nationals as well, too.
Yeah. Also, we will be recording our Outlap preview podcast, the 2022 SCUSA Spring Nationals, next, I believe, Tuesday. We'll bring Nate Dean in on that one as well to get him dialed in on how we do our Outlap podcasts. But David, we'll be doing that next week, and it'll immediately get up on the radio network. And of course, we'll turn it into a podcast just before the weekend as well, for those who are, of course, into the podcast program.
Yeah, excited to discuss the Spring Nationals, which ironically our next stop on what's coming up on EKN. We'll be that'll be our next trackside event. We'll be there on the June 10th through the 12th weekend, Supercarts USA Pro Tour.
Oh. And by we you mean you?
Oh, I just mean the website itself. I mean, now there are of us. It is a group now and not just a duo. So it's just we'll probably have Nate. Go ahead.
Keep going. No, keep going.
I was gonna say we'll probably have Nate home, maybe helping me out a little bit here and there for a couple of things, but but the website EKN itself is going to be covering the event SCUSA Pro Tour Spring Nationals from the Utah Motorsports campus in Erda, Utah.
I only say that, David, because it's the first Pro Tour race I will have missed in 12 years.
Now you will know how I felt.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. I'm going to be hurting not being there at the Spring Nats. Again, the first event that I've missed in the 12-year history of the Pro Tour. I'll be back for the Summer Nats. No conflict with that one. So good to go there. That's June the 10th, 11th, 12th, our trackside coverage. And again, David Cole will be providing race reports, the Paddock Insider, a lot of social media. Make sure you follow the social media. As David said, we'll activate Nate from his home office to be able to help out with the coverage there as well. And David, you mentioned maybe doing some podcasts too, right? Maybe playing around a little bit, maybe a Friday night podcast, whatever it may be. Chat with some of the guys in the paddock.
Yeah, I'm going to try and bring back the hot seat. That's the goal to the podcast, and so we'll probably try and sit down with maybe one or two different individuals over the weekend and record a couple podcasts that we can play. Be it that next week or the week after. Maybe we'll try and wrangle in Tom Kutcher. Maybe we'll talk to a team owner, or maybe we'll talk to a driver. Just a lot of different people that kind of feel it out and see what happens.
2 weeks after that, David Cole and I will be back together for the first time since when? When was the last time we were at a track together, David?
February in Phoenix.
Right, exactly. EKN Live back at going again, our EKN Trackside Live coverage. We mentioned it earlier. June 24, 25, 26, the one-off California Rock Championship at the Pat's Acres Racing Complex in Canby, Oregon. We'll be there. Full EKN Trackside Live coverage, play-by-play, you name it. Looking forward to that one. And David, that will kind of wrap things up. People can follow everything we do on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. What about TikTok? Do we need to start working on TikTok, David? Maybe Nate can do that for us.
Yeah, that might be a Nate thing, but again, TikTok it's an evil empire. At least that's what I tell my 14-year-old.
Don't go down the rabbit hole that is TikTok. Exactly that, right?
Exactly. But
2 hours later.
Again, we'll I think California Rock Championship will probably do a tent talk Friday evening. We'll probably maybe try and do the Rolliston Performance Group or maybe something else there. But I think that one will work out good. And then we'll put up a few more videos. We actually been getting a lot of good viewing from some of the videos, just the start videos that we published from the United States Pro Kart Series. I already got like 150 shares. Just kind of.
Wow.
Yeah, I just noticed that this morning, and just for some reason, this one video is just blazing the social media trend right now.
Well, again, we'll get lots more video up there for you, whether it starts, whether it's post-race interviews. I know David does a lot of post-race interviews as well with drivers. We'll be putting out a lot of content for sure. And again, obviously, big news for us to start the day as we kind of welcome Nate Dean to the program, his first day on the job here on a Wednesday, June 1st. Nate, I know you've been kind of hanging out there since the start. We do appreciate it. You're going to play a much bigger role in these podcasts moving forward. But again, I just wanted to say on behalf of David, we're thrilled to have you on board.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to more podcasts in the future. And again, obviously, really excited for working with you guys in EKN.
So, have you ever done any Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go.
Have you ever done any podcasts before, Nate?
I have done a few, but they have been unlisted, and you will never find them.
Secret podcasts.
Well, so is it on a specific? Is it racing oriented, or is it just some other subject matter that may not be disclosed?
Yeah. A friend and I a couple years ago tried our hand at not really intending to publish it, but like just a general overview motorsports podcast that maybe we don't do this in the future. But
well, guess what? You're doing it now, my friend. You are on board, so it should be a lot of fun. All right, David, let's wrap this up. Sound good?
Sounds good. Yeah, looking forward to what's coming up on EKN and a busy summer schedule.
Yeah, lots coming, folks. As we said, the SCUSA Summer Nats, probably Spring Nationals coming up. So Outlet podcast next week. Of course, right after that, we'll do the debrief race report podcast as well. More This Week in Karting is coming. And I think I have a lineup of about 3 or 4 face-to-face shows that we'll be trying to get out here in June as well. I'm not going to be trackside a lot or in my office a lot this month, which is kind of crazy, but we do have a lot of people we want to talk to, a lot of topics we want to hit on as well. Of course, having Nate on board now with us, we'll be able to do some more of a roundtable, bounce some things around. All 3 of us are racers, all with distinct thoughts on specific topics. So looking forward to what should be a tremendous year. And again, great to have Nate on board with us, our new staff member here at ekartingnews.com. Big thank you to Skip Barber again, our presenting sponsor of this particular podcast. We do want to thank everyone for being on board. On behalf of Nate and David, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.